And while we're extending a couple thanks, I want to give a couple thanks out to a couple sponsors, specifically to our tech sponsors. There's two of them. Hoover Kayshon, the law firm. I think they're sitting right down there. Thank you so much to them, and thank you to the Dominic Zunis Family Foundation. Thank you so much. Let's give them a nice round of applause, our tech sponsors. Also, the rest of the sponsors that can be found in your program, without your support and your donations, we could not make this tonight, this event happen tonight. So thank you very, very much. All those sponsors can be found in your program and actually right up on the board. So thank you very, very much for all your donations and your time and effort. But before we have a little bit of fun, a few housekeeping notes. I just gave these a minute ago, but I'm going to give them again. So there's about $900 in the 50-50. I'm sure that might have jumped. There's only about 2019, 1918, something like that. Wine pool. If you haven't got your little Oscar, go over there and get one, because even though there's a wine bottle in this bag, there's a lot more fun in the bag. And Jackie, there's a golden ticket. Let's just say that. There's a golden ticket. We're not going to tell you what the golden ticket is, but you want to have one of those Oscars because you're going to want this golden ticket. Also, Sam, where are you at, buddy? You don't need to come up and run. Oh, well, never mind. He's going to come up anyways. You're the best guy I know. You're a good guy. You know that? If you have not gotten your Be the Grinch ticket, Sam's going to be running around selling those Grinch tickets until we're done tonight. So if you have not gotten one, break loose. They're only $50, and you get to choose anything you want in that silent auction item. Right, Sam? Does anybody want one right now? Raise your hand. Oh, right down there. The law firm wants one right down there. Go over there, get your tickets, and get over there and sell some of them Grinch tickets, Sam. I love that kid. Also, the Stockler Bar. If you have not seen this, now you can buy this ticket on the app. Now, I was just checking out the booze that's over there. An aficionado, I guess. But there is a Cleveland Indians Jim Beam bottle over there. So that's rare in itself. There's also some of the Crown Peach. And if anybody likes peach, my table does not. I do. It's over there. And also, right in the middle, there's some Christmas ale. Now, there's a bunch of other drinks and bottles and everything that goes with that, but get in right over there because there's all kinds of fun booze. We're going to be pulling those tickets here shortly as well. I think that's all the house cleaning we got. So let's go. Let's have a little fun, huh? All right. So, again, I am Brooks Ames from Kiko Auctioneers, and what gala or benefit would be fun without a live auction? So, without further ado, get your bid card out and turn open to the middle of the program. There's only 5 auction items tonight. So, it's going to be short, sweet, and we're going to have a little fun. What you need to do is when I get to a bid level where you want to participate, raise up the panel. And we're going to have some fun. So, without further ado, I think we're going to have my assistant over here on the computer, right? We're going to turn it over to live auction item number 1. And we're going to start out with the Rise and Shine Safari at the Akron Zoo. Now, you're going to get to travel the zoo, and you're going to get to go early in the morning with the zoo staff, and they're going to basically show you what it takes to be a zookeeper. You're going to have the penguin habitat, the lemur building, the grizzly habitat, the lion habitat, and the red panda habitat. So you're going to get to enjoy all those. You're going to get to see what it's like to be basically a zookeeper at the Akron Zoo. This certificate's for 4 people, so let's get it on. Auction item number 1. Hey, I could probably ask at 300, 400, 500. Give me a bid and go. Give me 300 to kick her off. What do you say? I got 300 down here, now 350. I got 350 and now 400. 400, 400 now 4.5. 4.5 and now 500. 500 now 5.5. What do you say? I got 500 but at a 5.5. The auction's on. I got 500 but at a 5.5. 5.5. Hey, listen, don't let Leanne scare you because she's standing up money's just as good as hers. So don't let her intimidate you. Sorry, Sam. Don't let your mom intimidate you. She's working on it. We got Leanne's 500. Give me 5.5. Make her pay for it. I got 500 bid at a 5.5. What do you say? I got 500 bid at a 5.5. Anybody else? 500's a bid. 5.5 will let you in. The Akron Zoo. Behind the stage scenes, huh? I get 500 bid at a 5.5. Last call at $550. See, you scared them all, Leanne. Sold right down there for $500. Thank you very, very much. Did you get her number? Also, if you can hold that number up so I read that number, my wife will record it. So, hey, I'll tell you what, the next one, this is going to be action item number 2. They have it right up here, too. It's going to be a week stay at a Congo in Sunset Beach, North Carolina. Now, this is a golf resort villa located adjacent just to the Oyster Bay Golf Links in Sunset Beach. 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, open kitchen, dining room, living room, 2 queen beds, 2 beds, all the bells and whistles, flat screen TVs, and a pool. Now, it's available through March 26th through April 2nd. And if you haven't noticed, March 26th through April 2nd in Ohio, the weather absolutely stinks. So, if you're anything like me, you want to be out of Ohio at this time. So, get right in here. You have a golf, pool, nice weather. It's snowing and slushy here. Get right in there. Hey, I could probably ask you, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000. Give me a bid. Let's kick it off and go. Give me $1,000. Let's get underway. I got 1,000 over here. Now 1,250. I got 1,250 and now 1,500. 1,500 down here. 1,250 in the back. 1,300. Help me get there. 1,300. 1,300 now 14. 1,400 now 15. 1,500 down here. 1,500 now 16. 1,600 into 17. 1,700 now 1,800. 18 and now 19. 19, 2,000. 21. 21. 20. It snows. 21, 22. 2,200. 22. 2,200. What do you say? I get 2,100 and 22. 22 and then 23. 20. No. You're not done yet. 2,300. I got 22, but at 23. 2,300. What do you say? 22 straight back. I'm asking for 2,300. 23 over here. 23 and then 24. 24. You're not going to let her win, are you? 2,400. 2,300. You live in Ohio, right? You understand what the weather's like here, right? 2,300. 24. 2,400. One more time. I got 2,300 and 2,400. Anybody else? 23 is a bid. I'm asking for 24 last call at $2,400. Sold right here for $2,300. Thank you very, very much. What was your bidder number, ma'am? Hang on, she's taking a sip of wine. She's shocked. What was your bidder number, ma'am? Bidder number 219. Bidder number 219. Hey, moving right along, auction item number 3. Now, what's that, Sam? You know what? I think if anyone needs a Grinch ticket, Sam's pushing these Grinch tickets, people. The second dessert is very important to him, and you're letting him down, okay? Sam, I don't know what they're thinking, but you know what? We've already bought 2, but if they won't buy them, I'll tell you what. I know there's somebody out here. Does anybody need a Grinch ticket? There's somebody's got right there. We got another guy out there, Sam. Right there, that gentleman in the suspenders. He needs a Grinch ticket. Sam, tell him to buy 2. Desserts are important. I love that kid. All right, moving right along. Auction item number 3. Spa days for a year. Now, I know all the ladies. This is a Gavin Scott Salon and Spa. The winner receives a gift certificate good for a deep core facial expression pedicure, a gel manicure, and 1 day each month for 12 months. Now, if you're anything like me and forgot about Sweetest Day, guys, get back in right here. So get right in there. Auction item number 3. Hey, I could probably ask you $1,500. Give me a bid. Well, let's kick it off and go. How much? 15? I got 1,500, now 16. 1,600, 16, now 1,700. 1,700, what do you say? 1,700, 17. I got 1,600, but it's 17. 1,700. I got your 16 and now 17. 17. 1,700. 1,700. 1,700, what do you say? I got 1,600, but it's 17. I think you scared them. You know what? That's okay though. That's the way to bid. I got 16 on the left, 1,700 to let you in. 1,700, anybody else? 1,700, now 1,800. Now you're out. 1,800, 1,800, 18, 18, 1,900, 19, 19. Are you sure? 1,800, but a 19, 19. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. They always say no, but they mean yes. 19, 2,000, 2,000 to go. 2,000, what do you say? 2,021, 2,100, 21, 2,100, 21. Are you sure that car ride home is rough when you don't win? 2,100. I get 2,000, but at 21. 2,100. Anybody else at $2,100? So right down here for $2,000. Bidder number 221. 221. Did you sell two? Did you sell two? You did? You know, you got it for two? Good. Maybe get him for three. Hit him up again. Sam, you know what? Sam's gonna be an auctioneer, I bet, when he goes up. I'll tell you what, that kid's got, I like that guy. Hey, auction item number 4, we're moving around. How about those Buckeyes today? They made me nervous. Woo. That's all right. We're gonna be in that. Get ready. We're gonna be in the playoffs, and we're gonna beat those two teams up north. Hey, auction item number 4. Now, if you've seen this item early in the programming, whatever, we didn't have tickets, but guess what? We just got some tickets. So, OSU Toledo next year in the shoe, September 17th. You're going to the game. Also, you get all that fun stuff down there. I see there's sweatshirt, there's tailgates, there's a portable table, there's a cooler, there's a coffee tumbler, there's a big old speaker down there, and then there's the wagon itself. So, hey, right there to go, OSU tickets, the wagon, get right in there, Buckeyes, auction item number 4. Give me $1,000 bucks. What do you say? Let's get it on. I got 1,000 down here, now 1,100. 1,100, now 1,200. 1,200, what do you say? 1,200, let's go. I got 1,100, 1,200, now 13. 1,300 for the Buckeyes. I get 1,200 down here, 13, and now 1,400. 1,400, what do you say? 14, 14, 1,400, come on, and now 1,500. 1,500, right. I got 14 down front, 1,500, let you in. 1,500. 1,500 to go. 14's a bid, 15. Have you seen our receivers and quarterbacks? 15, 1,600, 1,600, 1,600. What do you say? 1,600. You're not Michigan, right? All right. I just had a check. 1,600. It worked. 1,700. 1,700. 17. Oh, so you're a Michigan fan. He's not. You are. 1,700. I know that's cold, but come on. 1,600, 17, 1,700 to go. I got 1,600, but it's 17. Anybody else? 1,700, 1,700. One more try. 1,700. You're going to say you missed the game, but they won the national title next year. 1,700. Anybody else? Last call. It's $1,700. So right now, it's $1,600. Thank you very, very much. Bidder number 214. Bidder number 214. You know what? This crowd's fun. I like it. Hey, auction item number 5. We're rounding third and coming home, and we're going to end with a fun one. Auction item number 5, a private party for 10 at the North Water Brewing Company. Now, this is a private party. It includes heavy appetizers and 3 Brewmaster Select beers. Now, you can do this on Mondays, so miserable Mondays, get out there, have some fun. Monday Night Football, take your whole crew, your office staff, whatever. But auction item number 5, up to 10 people at North Water Brewing. Get right in there. Hey, I could probably ask you 500, 600. Give me a bid. Give me 500 to kick her off. 500 right. I got 500 down here. Now 600. 600 now 700. 700 down here. 700 to go. I got 700 right. Give me 700. 700. 800. 800 to go. I get 700, but at 800. 800 new flyer, now 900. 900 right. It's only money. They're printing every day. 900. 800's a bid, 900 to let you in. I got 800 bid at 900. 900 to go. 800's a bid, 900. Anybody else? 800's a bid, 900 to let you in. Last call at $900. Snuck it in. 9,000. 1,000 over here. I got 900 now, $1,000. 1,000 now, 1,100. 1,100 over here. 1,100. 11. He's not taking you. 1,100. 1,100. 1,100 to go. I get 1,000 beans and now 1,100. What do you say? 1,100. $1,100. 1,000 bid at 1,100. Last call at $1,100. $1,100. $1,100. He won't even look at me. $1,100. $1,100. 1,100. Sold right there for $1,000. Thank you very, very much. What was your bidder number, sir? What was your bidder number? What was your bidder number? 307. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Let's give everybody a nice round of applause. That was fun. So, we're going to get into kind of the most important part of tonight's program, why we're all here to this. Now, every party has a purpose, and there's a big one tonight. So, I'm going to turn everything over to a lady that most likely she probably doesn't need an introduction tonight to this gala. I've had the pleasure of working with her the last few weeks, and I can see why this organization is so amazing for the things they do. She helps so many families out, so many single mothers. It's a blessing to know her. Jackie, come on up. 30 years in the business. By the way, she's the executive director and all that, so I didn't say that, but I'm sure you guys know. So, Jackie, go ahead.
Okay, what works and what doesn't?
That one
Okay,
does.
This one works. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I am so excited to have everybody back in person. I'm a little bit of an extrovert. I know that's going to surprise all of you who know me. So last year was really tough, and I hated being behind the camera, or, the screen. Anyway, so I'm super excited to have us all back in person tonight. Excuse me. Since we've all been together 2 years ago, so much has happened. So much has happened in our world. So much has happened in our smaller communities, and so much has happened at Open Arms that I want to tell you a little bit about tonight. While the world as a whole seems to have worked really hard at segregating and dividing over the past couple of years, we at Open Arms are so proud of the fact that we have continued work to bring people together. We have continued to work to bring families and children together every single day. While 2020 brought a lot of challenges to everybody and every industry, including adoption, I just could not be more proud of the growth that this agency has experienced in the past 2 years and of the staff that we have coming to work every day on behalf of kids and families. So let's look at a little bit of what's happened with Open Arms in the last 2 years. And I have to tell you, when I sat here to write this all down, I got a little tired just thinking back about all of it. So our staff has grown from 7 employees 2 years ago to 18 sitting here tonight. That's super exciting. We moved to a beautiful new office in downtown Kent, and we are super excited to be there. And our client base has increased by more than 250%. What's most important, though, is that we have placed more children in the last 18 months than in the past 3.5 years combined. What that really means is that 11 sibling groups, 29 kids that were separated from their brothers and sisters in foster care, found homes to finish growing up in together. 13 other children who were in foster care got released from foster care and found their forever families. That's a great one. And that 21 of our families were able to achieve their dream of becoming parents by adopting infants in the last 18 months. My personal passion that anyone who's ever met me or ever, look, people are laughing out loud, like out loud. Michelle, you want to tell them? Sibling groups, yes. I think I've met her once. Anyway, my personal passion and one of the key initiatives here at Open Arms continues to be placing brothers and sisters together in their permanent homes, especially when they were separated from foster care. So here's one of my favorite all-time sibling group stories. See, this is Trinity and Alexis. And Trinity and Alexis are cousins. And they are cousins that have lived together since they were infants. They lived together with their grandma because neither of their moms were able to take care of them. They both had their own problems, so they lived with their grandma from the time they were teeny tiny babies. And then when their grandma's health problems became too much for her to continue to care for them, they had to go into the foster care system. Luckily, they went into the same foster home, and although they bounced around a little, as by the way all kids do in foster care, they were able to stay together their whole lives until the state determined that they couldn't be reunited with any family. And they decided that Trinity and Alexis needed to be adopted, but they weren't sisters. They were cousins. So the state's plan was to find two homes, one for Trinity and one for Alexis. And I could not be more proud of the advocacy and the work that was done by this agency to convince the state that Trinity and Alexis are sisters and that they deserved to be in the same home to continue growing up together. And so today, Ginger, if you want to show the next slide, Trinity and Alexis not only are real sisters, they're legally sisters too. So March of 2020, that was a fun time. What that started, though, in the world of adoption between March of 2020 and last week is that 4 adoption agencies in the state of Ohio have closed their doors. 4. We had been really proud of our efforts to help families through that horribly stressful transition process when they found out that the organization that was supposed to make them a family was closing their doors with no warning. Aside from our ability to help those families, we quickly realized last March that many birth moms who had placed their babies for adoption voluntarily were about to lose the only way they had to communicate with those children, because the agency that was closing was doing all of that communication back and forth through the agency. So after a quick poll of the staff about how much work we were willing to do to continue that, we were able to continue seamlessly that communication between moms and the babies that they were separated from through adoption years ago. Thanks. So earlier this year, I promise I'll get done eventually, but there's just too much. Earlier this year, the only agency in Ohio, and actually one of the only agencies in the United States that focused solely on working with infants with complex medical needs, closed their doors suddenly. Now, it had been a secret goal of ours, and when I say ours, I mean mine. It had been, yep, there they are. It had been a secret goal of mine for quite a while to start a program for kiddos with complex medical needs. So 3 to 5 years turned into 3 to 5 months. And we actually just launched a new program to find and train families to provide permanent homes for kiddos with complex medical needs. These are our 2 medical special needs babies, our first 2. Tristan on the left was born with Down syndrome and had open heart surgery 6 days into his little tiny life. And we were able to provide him with a permanent family on day 1. Little Daisy on the right spent her first 3 months of her life in the NICU all by herself before someone called us. But she's never going to spend another night alone again because her parents think the sun and the moon revolve around that little girl. Okay, so Ginger's put up with a lot from me over the past few weeks. So we were done. I was done with my speech. I was done with the slideshow. But then Doreen, where are you, Doreen? Somewhere. There is Doreen. Okay, so this is Larry. Larry's 15. And we placed Larry in his adoptive home a week and a half ago. And Doreen comes, yeah, that's good enough, right? So Doreen comes bouncing into the office after meeting Larry for the first time and said, oh my gosh, Jackie, I have to tell you all about him and everything he said and everything he did. So Larry has lived apart from his mom and siblings since he was 4. He was with a relative for a while, but for the past 4 years, he's been in about 6 or 7 different foster homes. And a week and a half ago, Larry went to his permanent family, and Doreen just goes in and kind of, the general social work term or social work intro. So tell me, how's it going? And she says, Larry just stuck his hand on his hip and said, you know what, Miss Doreen, I think I won the lottery. I have 2 people that I can call mom and dad. Look at this, Miss Doreen, I have my own bedroom. I have never had my own bedroom in my life. This is my bed. This is my bed, my own bed. And for the first time ever, Larry was allowed to try out for the basketball team. By the way, he made it. And he joined the marching band. So for the first time ever, Larry has his own family, his own bedroom, his own bed, and he gets to do what all 15-year-olds do. So I couldn't not include Larry. Anyway, that's a lot. That's just a snapshot of our highlights over the past 2 years. From the bottom of my heart, cannot thank you enough for your support tonight and throughout the lifetime of Open Arms. It is because of your generosity that we're able to keep bringing brothers and sisters back together. It's because of your generosity that we're going to be able to find families for more kiddos like Tristan and Daisy. We're going to be able to launch that to the sky and fill that gap that was left. I lost my place. Okay, but I'm almost done. Anyway, I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize some other people without whom none of this would be possible. So if you're on my board, could you please stand and be recognized? They're great and all. Like, love you guys, but who I really want you to recognize is the best team that any director's ever had, who go to work every day to do what is best for kids. So if you are on the staff at Open Arms, please stand up. So now's for somebody you're really going to enjoy hearing from. I want to introduce you to 2 people who started as clients and quickly became a true part of the Open Arms family, and 2 people that I'm now super proud to call my friends. Not to steal their thunder too much. Look, Eric's starting already. You want a tissue? It's okay, all right. Anyway, not to steal their thunder too much, but if I'm not mistaken, Eric and Becky actually spent one afternoon of their honeymoon in the beautiful location of Streetsboro, Ohio, in my office. But that's their story, so Becky and Eric, please come up and share a little bit about your family.
Can I put this up in here? Sorry, guys. Okay. We are Eric and Becky Chance. Jackie's right. We got married on a Friday, and we were in her office the following Wednesday to find out more stuff. A little bit about us. We met in 2015. We're married in 2018. Both of us wanted kids. It was actually a second marriage for both of us. We were too old to be going through infertility treatments, didn't want to do it. So we both agreed that we wanted to check out adoption. Adoption is something that I've wanted to do ever since I was like, I don't know, young, 10, 11 years old. I actually remember the moment I knew that I wanted to adopt. I was sitting in a Wendy's with my mom, and remember they used to actually put placemats on the little trays, and there was the Dave Thomas Foundation placemat. And I remember asking my mom, what it was about, and she explained it, and she said it was something that she had actually thought about, but she was worried about how it would affect my brother and I growing up. And I knew right then and there that I wanted to do it when I grew up, and it was something I wanted. We talked to a couple different agencies. We checked out like three or four different agencies. Jackie's Open Arms, and Jackie was the first one we talked to. We left there and we knew from that moment that that's where we were going to end up. But we wanted to do our due diligence and check out some of the other agencies. And we just didn't have that connection with any of them. We felt like a number. We felt that there was just not that warm, fuzzy, I'm truly looking out for you feeling like we got with Jackie. Especially when I contacted her a month later and she said, "Oh, you were the ones that came in on your honeymoon." And we said, "Yeah, that's us." Yeah, she knew exactly who we were. So I have bullet points here. We went through our training. It was the snowiest January ever, the worst snowstorm ever that we had. And we went through our training, and we both, when we went into it, I was open to older children. He so much wasn't, wanted the infant. So we kind of went into both programs, infant and sibling group, and whatever came upon us first.
I will interject. That was before training that I was set on an infant, and
Yes.
during the training, it really, really changes your perspective.
It does.
Jackie's team does a great job. I was ready to go as soon as we were done with training.
I even pulled Jackie aside at training and said, "I think we almost have him there." And we did. So again, it was, whichever happened first. Jackie told us, hey, yeah, you can look online. There's different state sites that are better than others that are up to date. So, I was looking online, contacting Jackie constantly. The job I had at the time was very school-based, and it was kind of during the summer at this point, so we were not very busy, so I had a lot of time on my hand. And Jackie and Eric had to reel me in constantly. I was sending her like, "Hey, do you know anything about this sibling group? Like, it's a sibling group of 6. Now, granted, we have 0 kids, right? And we're gonna go to 6, right? Yeah. So I would still take 6, by the way, but anyhow.
We had just bought a 3-bedroom house at the time.
4.
So,
So, just like Jackie and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago, nowhere does it say each kid has to have their own room. You can put more than one in a room. They can share. Anyhow, we found our children online, and there's our daughter. And And I asked Jackie, I said, do you know anything about them? They were actually living in New Mexico at the time. And she did not. She said, go ahead, submit your home study, see what they say. So she did, and we were actually one of 1,500 home studies that were submitted on these kids. And we were narrowed down to one of 5 families and then picked for these kids. We fell in love with them from the moment we saw them. The little one, we saw his picture first. He's our charmer. His name is Javier. We knew just from the minute we saw him, he's honestly like the sweetest thing in the entire world.
He knows it.
He does. He does. And he uses it to his benefit quite often. Our daughter is the Spitfire. She'll give us a run for our money. She already does. And then our oldest, his name is James. The very first picture we saw of him, his eyes were hollow, is the best way I can describe it. He looked absolutely just blank. There was nothing behind his eyes. And I knew from that moment on, he's the one that's the most hurt. He's obviously the oldest. He has seen the most. He's the one that's been through the most. And we were right, just from the pictures. Their personalities 100% fit what we thought. James is our old soul. Jackie had told us one time that in her 30 years of doing this, he's the most insightful 8-year-old boy that she has ever met. He's one of a kind. I'm gonna cry. I'm just warning you now.
If she does, I will.
Yeah.
I'm a sympathetic crier.
Yes. So anyhow, we knew right from the get-go they were our children. There was a lot of meetings. We won't talk much about the state of New Mexico and the way they do things, but it's a little backwards. But anyhow, we were picked for them in March of 2019, and it was October of 2019 before we went out to get them. We signed all of our paperwork on October 25th and brought them back here home on October 28th of 2019. It started out great. The honeymoon stage is real. It is so real. And then it progressively got more challenging, as you would expect. Behaviors increased. They were testing us. They don't know us from anybody. They have went through things that children should never, ever have to go through. There was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of what were we thinking. We still have those what were we thinking moments. But I mean, what would you expect? Everything they've been through, I would do the same. They were testing us. We knew this. There was a lot of phone calls to Jackie. See, the thing is we were James' 7th home in 2 years. We were Ariel and Javier's 5th home in 2 years. We were their 2nd adoption. They had a failed adoption before us. So their lack of trust obviously was beyond real. They did not live together for about a year and a half of the 2 years that they were in foster care. James lived separately, and Ariel and Javier were mostly together. They only saw each other occasionally, like during times of respite. They didn't know how to be siblings. They were finally reunited in June of 2019 to try and learn how to be siblings. James was very much the parentified child. He was in charge of his brother and sister. Before they were removed from their birth mother, James was 5 years old, changing his little baby brother's diapers. And taking care of him for days on end, and his 3-year-old sister. Just things that no 5-year-old should even know how to do. They didn't know how to be siblings. They didn't know, they looked at James as their parent. They still do sometimes. We have to remind them a lot. We're mom and dad. Well, James says this. Well, James isn't your dad. We're your parents. We make the rules. And we have to remind James quite often, you're not the dad. We make the rules here. But they've gotten much better. I'm a stay-at-home mom. When they came home, you can ask Jackie, I was determined to go back to work. Working was very much a part of who I am. It was part of my identity. I did go back just part-time in the beginning. And the 2 older kids were in school, and I had a conversation with them. And I said, if you were sick and you needed to come home from school, would you want mom to be at work and be able to leave and come get you and bring you home? Or would you want me to be home and be able to come get you and bring you home? They said, we want you to be home. And I said, well, why? I can come get you either way. And they said, but we would know you were home. You would be there to come and get us. This is where I'm going to cry. The youngest one, Javier, was 3 years old at the time. And I took him to the sitter. And it was a private in-home sitter. She was wonderful. And on my it was my first or second day of him at daycare, I came into the house. He was like playing with some stuff. He looked up. He said, Mommy, you came back from home. And he came running over to me. He thought I was just leaving him at another house. And I went in the next day and put in my 2 weeks notice. And I don't regret it at all. Are there times where I miss being able to feel like a quote-unquote productive member of society? Sure. Are there times when I'm really sick of picking up that same toy and cleaning that same stuff? Sure. But I was where I needed to be. I needed to be there for them. That's what they needed. And that's what we were there to do. Even to this day, I mean, it's been 2 years since they've been home. I still have to reassure them. And it's something that we're going to have to reassure them for the rest of their lives. Literally, just a couple days ago, my daughter, I'm walking through the yard. She's on the trampoline. She's like, Mom, do you love me? I'm like, yeah. Like, why are you asking me this? Like, of course I love you. She's like, oh, okay. And so we were doing bath, and I said, why would you ask if I loved you? And she said, well, I just wanted to make sure. And I said, there's nothing you could ever do that would ever make me not love you. It does not matter. I said, I will love you until the day I die. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you know that. So please don't ever, ever question if I love you or not. Because there is nothing on the face of the earth that you could do that would make me not love you. My youngest, actually, and my oldest, in the beginning with my oldest, I had to hold him like a baby. He was 8 years old at the time, but just hold him. And he fought it at first. He was like, what are you doing to me? Like, why are you holding me like this? But then after a while, it became like our time. He craved it. He wanted it because they didn't have that growing up. My youngest to this day, we have to pretend that he's a baby. I have to cradle him, pretend bottle feed him, pretend burp him, pretend change his diaper. And it's fulfilling that need that he didn't get. He was only 10 months old when he was removed from his birth mom. But that trauma and that neglect goes that far back subconsciously. And actually that kind of died down a little bit. But just over the last week, he's done it about 2 or 3 more times. So that need is there, and it's gonna be there. And I don't care if the kid's 17 and he needs me to pretend burp him, I'll do it. I mean, whatever he needs, I don't care. A couple of the things that I could say that we've learned is that you have to give yourself some grace, especially as parents. We went from 0 to 3, and it's hard enough to parent, a neurotypical child, let alone a child who comes from trauma, neglect, abuse, children who are neurodivergent, who have ADHD, Tourette's, FASD, just anything that you can't physically see. And our children have some of those. So it makes it even harder, but you have to give yourself some grace, because how you think you're gonna parent those children isn't gonna work. And Jackie's the first one who told me that. And she kept saying, you need to give it up. It's not gonna work. And I was like, but this is all I know, And so it was a lot of research of different parenting techniques that would kind of work for us. And we did them, and it works. But there is times, we're both 44 years old, and for 42 years, we thought we were going to parent one way. So you fall back into those patterns, and you have to remind yourself, hey, I've been yelling a lot lately over the last week, and it ain't working. And you have to be your child's advocate. If you have to be their voice. No one ever was. And that is now your job. We have watched our oldest, even through COVID, when he came to us, he needed an IEP. He was not on one in New Mexico. We have watched him in 2 years, and even homeschooling, and I am far from a good teacher for homeschooling. He has tested out of his IEP. He is in regular general classes. He's doing wonderfully with A's and B's. And it just shows what stability, love, connection, just being there and providing for them, how much it helps.
Couldn't read.
He could not read at all. And he would get so mad, like even if we would read to him, because he was embarrassed. Now, birthday, Christmas, what's he ask for? Books. Our adoption was finalized on September 29th of 2020, quite longer than expected because of COVID. It was over Zoom. I cried through the entire thing. From the moment the magistrate said, "Do you wish to adopt these children?" I lost it. And when it was said and done and the cameras were off, James came over to us and he wrapped his arms around me and he sobbed. And he literally collapsed in my arms and sobbed because he knew he was safe. It was done. He was not going anywhere. He was home. They were all home. They were together. And we're ready for number 4, 5, 6, whatever. She's already looking for us, so. And the kids are all about it. They want more siblings, so that's our story. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Becky and Eric, let's give them another round of applause. So this is the part of the program. It's been a party, we're having fun, and we're gonna have a lot more fun. However, we just heard from Jackie, we just heard from Becky and Eric, chance party of 5, which I love. Jackie and her team are basically creating families. But they need our help. It takes a lot of resources, a lot of time, and a lot of staff, basically a lot of money, to just do what you just heard. And what you guys are doing, are just giving the basic needs of these children, making them safe, making them stability, the connection and the love you just talked about. So this is the part of the program where we ask you to open up your hearts and open up your wallets and continue what Jackie and her team are doing. So what we do is we start out very, very high. We ask for a high donation, and then we're gonna come down very, very low. And when we get to that bid level or that donation level where you can help out, please hold up that bid card and hold it up high, and I'll read it, and we'll move on. My wife's gonna write down all the numbers, so hopefully we get down to some of those lower numbers. She's gonna get carpal tunnel, or we're gonna make her really work. So, but like I said, we start out very, very high. This is basically a straight donation. So if anybody can donate $5,000 or more, like I said, we start out high. Just hold up that bid panel, hold it up high, so we can read that number off. And I know we start out high, but we'll come down low. So if anybody can do $5,000, I'll tell you what, we'll take that down. If anybody can do $2,500, just raise that bid paddle up. How about at $1,000? If you can donate $1,000, just raise up that bid paddle, hold it up so you can see it, so I can see it and read it, and I'll put my glasses back on. You can donate $1,000. How about we do 500? If you can donate $500, just raise up. We got a bunch of them right down here. The Chance family, bidder number 309, bidder number 169, and bidder number 208. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bidder number 275 and 223. Thank you very, very much. At $500. Bidder number 165. Thank you so much, ma'am. Anyone else at $500? It's hard to get that first one. Bidder number 277. Thank you so much, sir. At $500. Anyone else at $500? Every dollar counts. How about we take that and we make that at $250? If you can donate $250, just raise up that bid paddle. Bidder number 245 at $250. Thank you so much. Bidder number 305. Thank you so much. Bidder number 212. Thank you very, very much. Bidder number 163. Thank you so much, ma'am. Anyone else at $250? Bidder number 166. Thank you very, very much. I'll tell you what, we'll take that $250 and we'll take it down to $100. You can donate $100, raise up that bid paddle. Tell you what, we'll start back here. Bidder number 211, 224, 238. Thank you so much. Bidder number 206 and 203. Bidder number 162. Thank you so much. Bidder number 291 at $100. Bidder number 160, thank you so much, ma'am, at $100. Anyone else at $100, just raise that bid paddle up. Give everybody a nice round of applause so far. Not done yet. Tell you what, we'll just do $50. If you can donate $50, just raise up that bid paddle or any amount you want to donate. I'll just take anything. I'll tell you what, we'll start right over here. Bidder number 288. And 287, thank you so much, ladies, and $50. Bidder number 225, thank you so much, sir. Bidder number 306 at $50, thank you so much. Anyone else at $50, just raise up that bid paddle. Ooh, that one's deep. 170, is that right? I turned 50 a couple weeks ago, and I can't see where the number, is that 170 back there? I'm sorry. 170, all right, thank you very much at $50. Anyone else at $50? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I tell you what, your help creating families and making sure this group continues what they're doing. So I think, Jackie, I'm going to take a little break here, right? We're going to take a little break, and we're going to have everybody kind of get up. I do want to tell you, there's only eight Oscars left. So when the Oscars are gone, I think we're going to do the wine pool right after that. So get over there by those. Sam, how many more did you sell? We ready? Let's go, buddy. That second dessert isn't going to eat itself. We got Sam. He's going to sell the Grinch. And how about Sam's costume? Well, not his costume, his outfit. Sam, come on here, buddy. We got a couple more of those. You get to steal whatever is on the silent auction item. So if you haven't bought one of those yet, we still got more of those. Also, 50-50 in the raffle. The bar's open in the back. We'll be talking to you very, very shortly. In fact, once those last Oscars are gone, I think Jackie and I are going to do some work. And if anybody wants to buy one of those Grinch cards, Sam's right here. He wants to sell them. So thank you very much. Sam, I think we're going to have to go down there and twist their arms a little bit, buddy.